CVG has a reputation. You invest in the future, you deploy the future, you just don't talk about the future. How did this do it attitude start at CVG? Because it's world known that you actually do things.
Well, for those of us that have been around a while, you might remember Skunk Works. So we sometimes it's not too bad to fly under the radar and basically get things accomplished and then reveal yourself as to what you've done. But yeah, thanks for the compliment. Usually when you hear, you've developed a reputation, initially it's the shock and awe, but once you hear it's positive, we're certainly accolades all around. So we appreciate that.
Why did CVG first decide to lean into the future and look at new and emerging technologies, pilot them, test them, and in some cases commercialize them on your property?
Yeah, great question, Grayson. And we get asked this question quite a bit. Just presented last week at a different conference and walked everyone through. And these were my colleagues, by the way, all airports, still wondering, how did we find our way into this? If you look back to the history of CVG, we were a hub for a major passenger airline. And then suddenly the bottom fell out. And when I say the bottom fell out, the economy changed. And those of us in aviation, we understand it's cyclical in nature. So one day we had a hub, the next day we didn't. We became a focus market. So we literally dropped from roughly about 700 flights a day to well below 200. So you talk about shock and awe. Now, unfortunately, it's the evolution of a business sometimes. I would say, by all accounts, in the media, we came out as one of the fastest recovering airports in the US that went through a D-Hub exercise. And credit to our leadership and our board at the time, they very much saw the opportunity to reinvent ourselves. Frankly, at a community level, we were known as that airline hub and not referred to as CVG. So we recognized we really had to kind of create a brand about ourselves. Why? Because we're surrounded by 5 competing airports. We don't have light rail in the region. So anyone that's coming to the airport is probably driving their car. And they have a choice when they pull out of their driveway. Are they coming to CVG or are they coming to a competing airport? So that really established, if you look at very well-known brands, well, what are we going to do to make sure the consumer comes back to us and not a competing airport? And that's how we ended up actually stumbling into some technology developments.
You've become a brand now. As I said earlier, you're world renowned for your innovation and the technologies deployed there. Has that helped the business of CVG? Because the airport is a business at the end of the day. Has that reputation helped grow the business after the unfortunate circumstance that the airport went through?
Grayson, you absolutely nailed it. It is a business, and that's what we can't forget. My comment to colleagues has been, do we consider ourselves a utility or do we consider ourselves as a brand? When you start treating yourself as a brand and you recognize what the Fortune 100s, Fortune 500s, et cetera, have done with their brand development, it is absolutely trying to recognize what's the product that I produced yesterday, and am I producing a better product today that will keep me ahead of the competition. That's really kind of the approach that we've taken to help staff understand, and really our friends and family that are traveling CVG, what's differentiating ourselves over the other competitors. So really, if it involves technology, if it involves the economics of the airport itself, I would say that is first and foremost. So what are we doing as an economic engine for the community to really help everyone understand this is what's elevating our community at large? It's not just selfishly about the airport.